this stuff is. Yeah, your mic.
Yeah.
to video art, to paint sculptures, to AR and VR in several ways. Very much. Recently, we had a training with MOR to actually dissect what it is to preserve art, artifacts, and the rest. So it was more like textural archiving. So yeah, that's what I'm about.
Thank you. So also in conversation with me today is Anthony. Anthony, if you want to talk a little about your work.
Yep. My name is Anthony. Anth Ezeokoye. I'm the CEO and founder of Raknida. Now, Raknida is an Artech platform where we help young Black and African artists, digital artists, showcase and sell and distribute their works, in form of products. And we currently have in the works a platform for art streaming and other things. Now, in my personal capacity, I'm a trained architect, a digital artist with over 15 years experience. I'm a creative director and a bunch of other things. Yeah.
Thank you so much for welcoming my wonderful friends. I'm really excited to be in conversation today. I've been looking forward to this conversation for a little while. Quick introduction of myself. So I am Seju, Alero. I am co-founder of Artech and also founder of the Seju. Artech is a platform which we're building essentially the technology that allows for the archiving and digitization I'm done. The archiving and digitization of African art. So essentially, we're trying to create a space in which we allow for African artists to capture the essence of their work and capture the history of their artwork and record this work on blockchain. I also work with Seju, which Seju essentially is a platform that works with African creatives who are based on the continent and diaspora and creates a space for showcasing their work in, I think, interesting ways. So for me, I'm really excited to be in this conversation with you today because we're talking about ways in which the intersection of art and technology essentially create opportunities for African creatives. And both of you in your own right have really taken strides to move that conversation forward. So I'm looking forward to learning from you and engaging, I guess, the audience as well in ways in which we can, I guess, further the conversation and also further the technology really. So let's get into, I guess, the main meat of it. I wanted to start with, as you've seen over the last 6 months especially, AI, and to a large extent technology as a whole, from social media to tools that help cut down the time from idea to creation, is rapidly changing the creative landscape. From the perspective of creatives that work intimately with technology on the creative and business end of things, how has these technologies affected the way you work or the way you approach your craft? So, Jonathan, you start this conversation off.
All right. When we look at AI or technology that is emerging, we have over the past 5, 6 months, even I would say a year and 5 months, we have had like a rapid rush of new technology. One of the major things we had was NFTs. We had NFTs, coming into our space and having that craze for it. I feel that we as Africans we need to be able to understand that we have two ways in which we can further the art conversation. We can either adopt or innovate. And from what we have been doing, we have been adopting a whole lot of this, from AR to VR and many other kind of technologies, even down to blockchain. And for what we saw at the eventuality of NFTs, we realized that we need to be able to, according to previous speakers, what they have said, we need to be able to own the kind of technologies that we have in the market that we have, because we have like peculiarities that are just for the African market. So what I would try to say for AR, VR, I mean, what they provide to the contemporary market is the fact that they can, really dissect, or they can bring close people that are actually trying to interact with the work even more intimately. There is like a medium for that, just like the exhibition you're holding right now. So it's more like you have an exhibition where the major format is just still, but if you want to see the work, evolve in its texture from that to maybe a video format, then you can interact with that with AR and VR. For AR, maybe we use more convenient technology like our phones and etc. But for VR, maybe put on a headset and all that. I feel that that intersects very, very well with international technology, which I actually do. I've been doing for quite a couple of years. But if we are going to look at how we are able to own, expand, and maybe Africanize the conversation, we need to realize that texture is a huge part of technology. And as Africans, we need to be able to understand that the texture that we have is as important as any other thing that exists, and we need to be able to innovate around that for our work to really be true and long lasting.
How do you see us actually leveraging texture in these ways? Like when I think of texture, I think of something that's tactile, I think of something I can touch. But I know with the visual arts as well, you can create texture visually in a way that it becomes identifiable. So how do you think to innovate around that? Like what kind of technology can we use to do that?
Alright, so for one of the recent technology that I've interacted with was photogrammetry. What photogrammetry does, especially at the highest point, because I was trained by Facom Technologies, one of the highest point that you can have for technology capture is, one of the highest technologies you can have is maybe making use of photogrammetry in that aspect. But how we can evolve is to own our own narrative, because one of the things I actually discovered in my training is the fact, because what we were trained with was artifacts. We brought artifacts were brought, and we were trained around using artifacts. So what I'm trying to say is that in the international sense, our textures determine what the holistic meaning of creation can be. So as Africans, we need to be able to understand how we can document our contemporary textures. We need more anthropological studies and execution, as artists. And one of the ways I have been able to do that in my practice is to, with a recent body of work, I was able to document textures that we can actually relate with as Africans or Nigerians at this particular time. So I feel that this kind of ideology should be encouraged and practiced.
And next, kind of ask that in terms of your own experience, essentially, in how that intersection of art has impacted your own craft and your own work. I know more specifically with the work that you do at Raknida, quite a bit of, I think, the work that the architect, you showcase the architect. So it's very similar to what we showed today, the exhibition in terms of artwork that has AR embedded in that. We want to see a little bit to to that evolution and how you came to that place?
Okay, of course. So a long time ago, this was I think as far back as 2013. I was working with someone back at CC Hub, like we were collaborating on the project, and what we were trying to build was a digital art gallery that could, with use of motion sensors, and then you could just, have a screen and then just do like this and this thing. Now, fast forward, that was we were trying to use the Kinect and a bunch of other tools, I think Xbox and stuff like that. Now, fast forward to now, we're talking about interactive art. Now, the closest to that, I think one of the most popular mediums that people actually use to create interactive art is augmented reality. Now, what we believe is that beyond just having artworks that are static, and it's pretty much like if I would say one-dimensional, it makes sense to just have art that is more dynamic. Art that beyond just the 2D surface that you're seeing, it has like depth, it has some level of interactivity, exactly, and then even to a very large extent has even sound integrated in it. And I think the beauty of this is the intersection of the creative industry. The beauty of augmented reality art that as some of our artworks on Raknida have integrated is the intersection of the creative industries. Now, in this kind of art, you have sound, of course, music created by whether it's a royalty-free music or maybe something that a musician actually created, like specifically for that purpose. And then you have the movement of the artwork. For that, you actually need to engage maybe an animator or a motion graphics designer, to create that. And then outside of that, you also then have the visual art, the 2D painting itself, whether it's done traditionally or digitally. So this, I think, this confluence, this intersection of skills is what we need more in the creative industry. And of course, it's made popularized by, it's put into, I would say, mainstream application using tools like augmented reality tools and, in some cases, virtual reality tools.
Absolutely agree. In fact, one of the things I really enjoyed about putting together a body of work that we had for the exhibition was the collaboration between the artists who have different mediums coming together and finding ways to further enhance each other's craft. One really good example was like our t-shirts. Like the absurd t-shirts that are really cool that we developed have like the little bits of AR. The back if you want to kind of like play with this a little bit, see how this works. So you use your phone and you scan using the Artech app, kind of scan the photo on the back of my shirt. You get to experience something that's absolutely different from something that the user has from the initial image. And I think that was cool having two different artists, two different mediums. We had Tena Iwa, who is a phenomenal photographer, also one of the co-founders of AXA, who created the original image, working with Olatunji, aka Gobe, who did quite a bit of the AR work that we have in the exhibition today. Layering that on, and all of a sudden you have a whole new experience in addition to just being able to see, the work in its original form. And I think that intersection of creativity and the way in which art and technology allow you to do that space is really.
Absolutely. So in fact, this just reminds me of, so last year during the Artech, they had like almost like mushroom events, just small clusters of events in different places. Raknida collaborated with a rising star, Somadina, you might know her. She's under Ezeokoye, that's Chin, managing her. So we collaborated with her and created a full augmented reality exhibition where she launched an album. She launched her music distance. It was almost like a pre-launch opening. And at that event, we helped them integrate augmented reality in a bunch of their music, almost like music arts, and people got to interact, with headphones, with their phones, and then it was so much, it was so much fun, interacting with it. I'm saying beyond just visual artists enjoying the use of augmented reality, its application in music, to launch a musical album, it doesn't just have to be like a typical everyday listening party. You can collaborate with, so Madina had collaborated with, I think, the animator's name is Nia Han or something. She's based in Germany. Yeah.
So you have cross-cultural
Do you
collaboration.
understand? Exactly. So it was very interesting. So we brought in the tech, and then and also the setting up everything. And she brought in her music side, and the other lady brought in her the integration of the animations and stuff like. It was so beautiful. Yeah.
Love that. So I'm excited to see kind of more events in which you can actually get to interact with technology in this way. For me, a lot of this is new, and every time I discover some new form of expression, maybe that's brings joy for me. So I'm hoping that we get to continue to share this. And I'm really happy and thankful that we had the opportunity to have this conversation. So thank you all so very much. I think we're going to kind of wrap this up now.
Are we done already?
So, what we do so though,
Alright, so I feel that we should actually be very, in terms of like the technological availability for us. I actually really enjoy what you do in terms of like bringing several creatives together from the music scene to the several scenes, bring them together. But I feel also that if we're going to dominate an emerging market, like a global emerging market, we need to also look outside of what is popular and also look at what is actually, what we can dominate. And one of the things, and like few of the places, when you look at artists now, you see them, Nigerian artists is actually Nigerian artists is doing very well. Just the way Afrobeats is actually doing very well. But when you look at some spaces, you realize that Nigerians or Africans are not dominating that aspect because of some infrastructural deficit that we have. And which places are these? We look at Art Electronica, we look at CERN, you look at places like IBeam. Nigerians go to places like Amory, we go to places like Art Basel, but we're yet to explore what technology actually means. Let me give you an example. In this place, there's a whole lot of noise and there's a whole lot of conversations going. Now, the theme of this place is, what we're doing here is how art, intersects with technology, right? Right? There are actually ways in which you can actually turn sequences of sound into symbols. Now, imagine that we have an art project whereby we are actually creating these symbols in connection to the conversation we are having. Then we can actually put something in the middle of this place, and we can actually create art in real time that can actually be symbolic. We have Chanli's theory, and when you look at like several, we need to be able to collaborate with science, even more, and not just be pure art. We need to be able to realize that we can adapt design to several aspects or several layers of technology which are not popular yet, for us to be able to find our textural identity. That's what I actually stand for. That's what my art stands for. That's what my art practice stands for. And I'm actually happy to be able to convey it in a convention like this. So thank you.
I definitely agree with him. for me, the way I think about it is, beyond being an artist, I like commerce as well. Do you understand? I like to be making money. I'm big on, when you have an art exhibition, what's the value of that exhibition at the end of the day? Like, how much do you make out of it? How much do you sell? So it's almost like, I think when I think of Artech, I really am looking forward to a future where, before you actually go in to have an art exhibition, you already have like a full blown, it's almost like a sold out concert, right?
And the preview of the show first, when you get the chance to actually see the work and engage it before they actually get to first, and then with the relationship with the work.
Yeah, more like beyond even that, like the art is sold, like it's sold. Because we've had, typically when people organize art exhibitions, it's almost like a lot of people just go there to drink the Chapman and then, drink the small drinks and eat the small chops and move on. Nice work, and then at the end of the day, the artist goes home still without any penny, right? And in Raknida, we're all about, okay, how do we put this money in the artist's pocket? So, which is the reason why we are always looking for new ways, new technologies. We had to, yes, we launched digital artworks, we sell them as art prints, canvas prints, and wallpapers. And then, we further pushed it, we added augmented reality. Even right now, we're currently in the concept and development phase of building another product, which, so I typically introduce it by saying, for the longest of time, visual art has been left behind. It's been heavily traditional. Unlike music, books, and movies that people can actually stream. You can stream these creations, these contents rather. Visual arts, everybody, it's almost like if you don't see the canvas, it's difficult to appreciate it. And people are still very traditional in the commercial aspect of this thing. It wasn't until the rise of NFTs that people started really appreciating digital art as even, a thing, not let alone an asset class. Now, we are creating like a hardware, a smart frame, that's where people can actually stream artworks. You can art streaming becomes a thing. So I think conversations like these would further drive that commercial value of art, visual art, whether it's digital art or digitized artworks in the broader sense of it, and even gives it a more global scope in terms of application and appreciation. So yeah.
We do have to wrap up the conversation shortly, but I am hoping that we can continue and further the conversation via the links. I'm hoping to have contact information in the share that we have for the exhibition. For those who might have more questions or who want to engage with you, please reach out to both Jonathan and Anthony or myself, and we'll be happy to take that answer. Thank you all.
Yeah, now.